Hi, how are you?
Excellent. How are you? Can you come a little closer? I can't really hear you back
Hey,
there.
no, I'm just sitting down now. Hold on, I'm just coming. I'm just moving because we're on a computer, so I'm just coming closer now. Here we are.
Take your time. Come closer, boy George.
I'm here. I'm here. How's that?
That's very good. How are you today?
Very good, thanks. It's beautiful in London. The weather's nice. It's a beautiful day.
Are you ready to come to the States and come see us?
Always, always. I mean, listen, we tour a lot in America. Every year we're on tour in America, and we love being there. And we're very lucky that we're popular in America. So yeah, nothing to feel bad about. It's all exciting.
What about Atlanta? Have you spent much time here?
Yeah, no, many times. I mean, obviously DJing wise, I used to come and DJ a lot in Atlanta, but over the years, obviously, we've definitely toured in Atlanta, but it's been a while. We're looking forward to this show. And actually, the band is like, I think we're better now in a weird sort of way. We just enjoy it more. And I think that translates. You go and see a lot of bands and you think, do they even like each other?
Exactly.
There's this weird, because I think your energy, it says a lot when you're on stage. I mean, I'm lucky. Obviously, I've fallen out with members of the band and the rest of it, but I would never be on stage with people I didn't like.
Well, you hear these stories of bands that hate each other, that play together, and sometimes you hear them play beautifully, and then you hear when they walk off stage, they go their separate ways, and they hate each other. They don't talk. Yeah. Somehow they get it together, and I just have never understood how they do that when art is such a collaborative effort sometimes,
I suppose in a way that if you imagine how good it would be if they weren't feeling like that.
A good example here in Atlanta that everyone's passionate about is the group Outkast, who supposedly hate each other. Everybody pretty much on earth wants to see an Outkast reunion or at least a show with them together. And I don't see that in the cards.
It's the perfect name as well for a Fallout, Outcast. I wonder if sometimes it's like legal stuff that stops bands working, but a lot of the time it's just ego.
Has there been any point in your career where you could feel like maybe your ego was a little bit too out of hand and you had to kind of rein it in, or have you always been in control of it?
I think that those times are well documented.
Yeah, that was almost a rhetorical question, but
it was. I mean, there's no way to answer that since there's so much evidence to the contrary. I couldn't say, oh, yes, I've always been. No, I haven't. I was crazy. Obviously, when I was younger, I was crazy, and I'm still crazy, but in a kind of contained way.
And how does crazy in a contained way manifest itself?
Well, on stage, that's where you get to be as crazy and as fun as you can be. And you can do that better when you're chilled and relaxed. It's amazing how different the performance is. When you listen, I have this policy: if you arrive smiling, everything's going to be better.
Ooh, I like that. Different shows, George, evoke different emotions when you go to them and different feelings. When people walk into this show, what do you want them to feel and what do you want them to come away with? What kind of experience?
I always want people to let go, hence calling the tour the Letting Go show, because, I say because of all I know, I'm learning to let things go. And I think it's about wisdom, and it's about what do you want to do for that 2 hours? Just have fun, dance and connect with the music. And obviously I talk to the audience. I'm not one of these artists that goes on and doesn't speak. I like talking.
Those shows are so uncomfortable where they don't say one word to the audience and you walk away going, did they even know we were out here?
I'm in their face the minute I walk on. Hey, I'm in your face. I'm like one of those mad clowns at the kids' party. I'm like, get away.
You mentioned Let Things Go, which is some brilliant new stuff. And I know you appreciate the old stuff, but I mean, be truly honest. And I really don't have to remind you to do that. Do you ever get sick of singing the same things over and over again? If people say, oh, do Karma Chameleon.
No, I mean, there's been times in my career when I've been asked to be on TV and they're like, can you sing an old song? I'm like, oh, for God's sake, But when you're doing a live show, those songs are massively important. In fact, I don't know why they call it the Greatest Hits Show, because, I mean, we always do our hits. There's never been a show where I've not sung Culture Club songs. Even my solo shows, even when I've done things on my own, I've always done those songs because they are like winners in a live situation. Do you know what I mean? Karma Chameleon.
You mentioned doing it on TV and you've played yourself in movies. Arthur's Whiskey is a new one where you've been asked to play yourself. How difficult is it to play yourself? Are you constantly having to overanalyze what you do, or when you watch it back, think to yourself, is that something I would really do? Or is it really just kind of easy to let yourself go and be yourself?
Let's not get excited about my role in Arthur's Whiskey. I'm singing Chameleon. I'm singing Karma Chameleon. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But they did pay me handsomely for it. So I was like, I'm smiling. I love this gig. And of course, I got to work with Lulu and Diane Keaton, which was insane. And she was a lot of fun. Oh, my God. She is very naughty.
Give me an example of a naughty story about Diane Keaton.
She said some things to me that I will never be able to repeat, but I will never forget them.
You can repeat them here, I promise.
I promise you I can't. But she was so fun, and she was because in the film we had to force them to come up on the stage and sing. So she was playing this kind of reluctant sort of thing of like, I don't want to sing, and I was being very, very physical with her and pulling her around and making her dance. And it was just a lot of fun.
And how did that legend play along with that?
She was kind of difficult with the crew, but she kept winking at me every time she did it, and I was like, I love this woman.
When it does come to your acting, do you have a dream role you'd like to play? I know you've got Captain Hook coming up in a musical adaptation of Peter Pan. Is there a dream role you'd really like to play that's not yourself?
Yeah, I'd like the challenge of playing a role that was unexpected, like someone, like one of my brothers or something, like someone a little bit more of a rough diamond. Stage acting is my favorite, like musicals and, it being with an audience. There's nothing like having the audience there because it just is the magic in that.
You hear actors and artists talk about that all the time, and it's something that us regular people don't get to feel. That's a feeling I would like to feel, is that energy from the audience coming back to you. Obviously, on the radio, that doesn't happen much. All right, fan questions from our Instagram at Star94 Atlanta. Catherine asked, what kind of things make you truly happy, and what makes you more happy, doing music or doing art?
I think art and music are so connected. Art, music, and fashion, they're kind of in the same bag, And I always say, if I was like, if it came to the brain, I would be a supermodel because my mind's always busy. It's always exercising. It's always working. But yeah, creativity is what drives me every day, ideas, exchanging ideas, conversation, communication. And also, I really love doing nothing now as well. That's a new thing. And when I do it really well. I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
Oh, I could win the gold medal at the Doing Nothing Olympics. Solar Garden had lots of great questions. George is such a gorgeous songwriter with a huge collection of unreleased songs. How does he choose which songs are going to be released next? And I'm hoping Suddenly I'm the Wiser will be one of them, either on the new album or part of 60460.
Yeah, Suddenly I'm Wiser won't be in this tour, but it's coming. It's an acoustic song. It's beautiful, actually. I just put clips up to kind of see the reaction, what fans say. And then if it gets a good reaction, I'll put it out at some point. But I've released like 47 tracks in the last 2 years, so I'm not shy about releasing music. It's coming. It's always coming.
Please choose this question. This will be from Fred. What is the song Watching the Lotus Bleed about?
John Moss.
I guess you don't need a minute to think about it.
I struggle with the fact I can't get you off my back. The party's over. Will you leave? I mean, it's quite direct.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I didn't know the answer to that one. We'll wrap George with a deeper question. Amy in Atlanta said, what would you say to a young transgender in these times? What would you say to your 13-year-old self with what you know now and have experienced as of today? That's from Amy in Atlanta.
I think it's really important to understand that kids tell their parents what's going on, right? When I was a kid, I didn't know who I was or what I was. I knew I was different and other kids were mean to me. So I understood there was something about me that didn't fit with them. And I think what people don't understand is that kids are the ones that instruct adults. If you've got a child, your eyes on that child all the time and you see when they're not the same as other people. And I think that whenever I talk to young kids who are like gay or trans or anything like that, I just say, start by loving yourself. That is the key thing, because your energy is about, self-love to start with. And listen, some people don't have supportive parents. And I was very lucky, that I had a family who were not necessarily cool with the whole thing, but they didn't disown me. They were like, okay. And I think that, the trans thing has become the sort of new thing to get upset about, right? And I think it's like no parent is dropping their kid off at a clinic to get them, transgender. That's not what happens. Kids inform the adults. Kids are the ones that say, I'm different. Help me do something about it, and I think the thing is now we have the internet. So now we know more about these things. We didn't know anything about anything back in the day. Do you know what I'm saying? And now we have this tool that says, and you suddenly think, oh, there's more people, but there isn't. They just didn't know about them before. Do you know what I'm saying? You didn't know about the people that were trans or that were drag queens or that were whatever. And by the way, I'm a big fan of normality, whatever that means. I feel like sometimes people need the right to be normal if they want to be. I don't think it's I think whatever you want to do, be in your own experience, be in that experience and know that there are always people out there who will love you, always. Like when I see a homeless person and I give them money, I always like to say, not everyone's horrible. Not everybody's judging you. And I think that is as important a message as any, that there's horrible people out there and people sit behind computers and they're mean and they're bitchy and all the rest of it. But there's so much love out there. Really, there really is.
George, talking to you has been as fun and meaningful as an experience as I could have ever imagined. It's a bucket list item. It really is. I can't wait to see you here in July 18th at Cadence Bank, Chastain Park here in Atlanta. That is a Live Nation show. Boy, George, thank you for your humility, your art, your energy, and of course, the music.
Thanks a lot. And good luck to Amy. That's an interesting journey, but good luck with that.
She'll really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
See you later. Bye.